Are you tired of feeling like you can't understand your baby's cries? You're not alone. But what if I told you that you can learn to decipher your little one's cries and know exactly what they need? Keep watching to learn the secrets of understanding your baby's different cries. Hi there and welcome to Yardy Baby. If you're looking for a channel that features baby-related tips every day, then you're on the right track. If you want to stay up to date on the latest tips and tricks for raising happy, healthy babies, make sure to hit that subscribe button and join our community of supportive parents. As parents, we all want to do what's best for our babies. And one of the most important things we can do is understand their needs. But let's be real, it can be tough to figure out what our little ones are trying to tell us. That's why we're going to spend some time today talking about understanding your baby's different cries. You may have noticed that your baby's cries can vary in pitch, volume, and intensity. But did you know that each cry can actually mean something different? That's right, your baby is trying to communicate with you, and it's up to us as parents to listen and understand. With a little bit of practice and patience, you can learn to understand your baby's cries and respond to their needs. So let's dive in and learn the secret language of babies. First, let's talk about the hunger cry. This is usually a low-pitched, constant cry. Babies will often make this sound when they're hungry or need to be fed. If your baby is crying and you've recently fed them, it's possible that they may be hungry again. Keep in mind that babies have tiny stomachs and will need to eat more frequently than adults. It's important to pay attention to your baby's feeding schedule and make sure they're getting enough to eat. Next, we have the tired cry. This cry is usually higher pitched and may sound more urgent or distressed. Babies will often make this sound when they're tired or need to sleep. It's important to create a consistent sleep routine for your baby and put them down for naps and bedtime when they're tired. If your baby is crying and you've recently put them down for a nap, it's possible that they may not be fully asleep yet and need a little more time to settle. The pain cry is probably the most distressing for parents to hear. It's usually a high-pitched, sharp cry, and it can be a sign that your baby is in pain or discomfort. If your baby is crying and you're unable to identify the cause, it's always a good idea to check for any signs of discomfort or pain. This can include things like a wet or dirty diaper, a cut or scrape, or a fever. If you're concerned about your baby's pain, it's important to consult with your pediatrician. Finally, we have the boredom or frustration cry. This cry is usually a low-pitched, monotonous sound, and it can mean that your baby is feeling restless or needs some stimulation. If your baby is crying and you've recently fed and changed them, it's possible that they may be bored or in need of some interactive playtime. It's important to provide your baby with a variety of stimulating activities and give them the chance to explore and learn. So there you have it, the 4 different cries and what they might mean. Of course, every baby is different, and it's important to pay attention to your individual child's cries and try to figure out what works best for them. It may take some trial and error, but with a little bit of patience and practice, you'll be able to understand your baby's cries and respond to their needs. But it's not just about understanding the different cries, it's also about responding to them in a way that meets your baby's needs. So let's talk about some strategies for responding to your baby's different cries. First, let's talk about the hunger cry. If your baby is crying and you suspect they're hungry, the best thing you can do is offer them a feeding. You can try breastfeeding or bottle feeding, depending on what works best for you and your baby. It's important to make sure you're following safe feeding practices, such as washing your hands and sterilizing bottles. If your baby is having trouble latching or feeding, it's a good idea to seek the help of a lactation consultant or your pediatrician. Next, let's talk about the tired cry. If your baby is crying and you suspect they're tired, the best thing you can do is help them get some rest. This can include putting them down for a nap or getting them ready for bed. It's important to create a consistent sleep routine for your baby and make sure they have a comfortable and safe sleep environment. If your baby is having trouble falling asleep or staying asleep, it's a good idea to seek the help of a sleep consultant or your pediatrician. For the pain cry, it's important to try and identify the cause of your baby's discomfort and address it. This can include things like changing a dirty diaper, cleaning a cut or scrape, or providing pain relief for a fever. If you're unable to identify the cause of your baby's pain or if their pain persists, it's important to consult with your pediatrician. For the boredom or frustration cry, it's important to provide your baby with a variety of stimulating activities and give them the chance to explore and learn. This can include interactive playtime, reading books, or singing songs. It's also a good idea to give your baby plenty of time to practice their developmental skills, such as grasping, reaching, and rolling. So there you have it, some strategies for responding to your baby's different cries. Remember, every baby is different, and it's important to pay attention to your individual child and figure out what works best for them. In conclusion, understanding your baby's different cries is an important part of being a parent. It takes time and practice, but with a little bit of patience and persistence, you can learn to decipher your baby's cries and know exactly what they need. Don't be afraid to seek the help of professionals, such as a lactation consultant, sleep consultant, or pediatrician. And above all, remember to trust your instincts and do what you feel is best for your baby. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to the Yardy Baby channel for more baby-related tips and tricks.